He lives it. Our Toastmaster of the day is the founder of Leadership Speak, a trailblazer in self-directed leadership and the visionary behind the Legacy Leaders Initiative, an international succession plan that ensures our club remains the gold standard of excellence. He's a global leadership coach, keynote speaker, and the architect of the Human Lab, dedicated to unleashing human potential across the world. Please help me welcome the Toastmaster of the day, Brahm Memone. Woo!
Thank you, Leah. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Leadership Speak. As you can just see in the background there, what I just played is the 29 countries from all over the world that we have members from in this club. And it's not an easy task sometimes to have people from all over the world to be in a club of this magnitude. We have 55 engaged members in the club today. It's all on the dashboard. And as well, if you look at the dashboard, we have I believe about 85 to 87 education awards currently earned by some of the members in the club. Quite a number of members are new, so they will be getting on board with the education awards as well. If you are not speaking, please mute your microphones. And Madam Zoom Master, if you can help muting the microphones, that'd be great. Paramjit, if you can help as well, thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's theme is, of course, all about how leaders create legacy. Now, it's very, very important for a club that has members from 29 different countries to create a legacy so that despite the downward trend in some of the clubs and districts around the world, we continue an upward spiral opposite to what's happening. And there's a method and a reason of how we do that, which is exemplified by our leaders in Leadership Speak. Today is also the election day for our officers coming in, and that will take place I'm trying to get my words right. The election will take place at 11:30 a.m. today. So we will greet the guests towards the end and then let them leave the meeting so that we can conduct our elections with just the members. If you're a member not in good standing as well, you'll be asked to leave. But I think every member here is in good standing currently. So thank you all for being here. Before I get into the theme, however, ladies and gentlemen, I have something very, very important. We have some very, very important people with us amongst us. And who are these very, very important people? Well, the very important people are actually right here, who are our guests. So the very important people are our guests. Dear guests, I want to speak directly to you today. Leadership Speak is one of the top clubs globally. And you are here either because you've heard something from somebody, or you were searching and you just accidentally came here, or you've known Leadership Speak for a while and you are here. So thank you so much for coming to Leadership Speak today. Our guests, you as our guests, you are the most important people around in this meeting. And so we will be posting a guest book in the chat. If you can please sign that guest book and let us know who you are, and we will get back to you if you wish. You can enter that in the guest book. So thank you so much for being here. The fire is burning. Sit around. Let's sit around the fire, relax, enjoy ourselves, sit back and see what we have in the meeting. Earlier, an agenda was posted in the chat, so you have access to the agenda. If Leah, if you can repost the agenda as well and the link. So let's have a look and see if the link is already there. It is there. Thank you very much. To Yes, the link is there. So thank you very much. And Maura, thank you very much for your private message. Welcome to the club, and so happy to see you as well. Having said that, let's look at the theme itself and what do I mean by the theme. So let me do some cheating here and look at some of my notes that I written earlier. And there's three things that I want to address in this meeting about legacy and how we build a legacy. Of course, the very first thing before I even mentioned the first 3 points that I wanted to was how we shape the future and how the future is shaped and embedded right now currently in the club. And it is embedded in the club by our constant coaching each other and mentoring each other, which we do consistently every Tuesday. So our meetings are always on Saturdays, but every Tuesday I spend about 3 hours with members coaching and mentoring them to the next level. And out of that, we have about 18 members who said they want to be legendary speakers or leaders. That's right, not just excellent or good or average. They want to be at the legendary level and continue the legacy of Leadership Speak. So it's all embedded in the culture. So the first thing is the culture strong that creates the ability to convey? It's a vessel for the legacy to continue into the future if that culture is maintained and other people are trained to maintain that culture. So that's the first thing about legacy. Oh, I didn't know that I had this thing here. But so this is another part of our legacy, by the way. And our legacy shows up in we earn the Club of the Year award every year. This was our second consecutive year, 2023-24. We are online to have this award this current year, which will be awarded. The trophy will arrive next year as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is also part of what we do with our legacy is we become the top club globally and, of course, therefore, in our district. But here are the three things. Legacy is built. It is not inherited. Now, what do I mean by that is it is not about holding a role in the club. You could be a member. You could be a member with no title. So as we all know, we've heard about this quite well, that leaders don't necessarily have to have a title. Everybody is a leader who stands up, steps forward and takes initiative to say, I have ownership, I have stewardship, and I'm going to shape the future by understanding the culture and following the culture. So legacy is crafted daily by our daily decisions and service and elevation of other people in the club. So when we elevate others and each other, it is something that creates the momentum for high quality experience and engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, guests, this is what carries us forward. We just finished our third year on February the 17th. We are just entering into our fourth year, and we still remain a top contender in being one of the top quality clubs globally. So now, number 2 here, succession planning. Succession planning is very, very important. So I think it was towards the end of February, beginning of March, I realized that even though we had a coaching class every Tuesday, we were not quite gelling as leaders who will continue with the legacy. So I said, okay, let's create another group. Before that, of course, we had what I call the education committee. If anyone wanted to serve, they would be put in the education committee and be given a role, a small minor role to prove that they understood the system. And then they would, of course, be given a committee role or whatever. Then we decided that we will create a legacy group instead and call it the legacy group, which is really an extension of the education committee. And this is where we really began to delve into succession planning and its leadership in action. What do leaders really do when they are wanting to inspire? They prepare to lead others by instilling in them the culture, the tradition, how leadership actually works within a global club like ours, so that future executives, now this is very important, future executives are not accidental, right? At the last minute, somebody puts up their hand and say, oh, I want to sort of be whatever, because we push them because nobody's standing for a role. So future leaders are not accidental, but intentional. Intentionality is very, very important. And legacy is sustained through continuity, not through charismatic leadership. Through continuity, because leaders come and go, but the continuity is what we are after. So the third one, therefore, is the influence must outlive the presence, because I will be exiting Toastmasters completely. Yes, I've said so. My shelf life has come to an end because my business and my other priorities are very pressing, and I will eventually leave Toastmasters because I cannot do everything and do justice to Toastmasters. If I'm doing something, I really need to put 120% in that project that I'm doing. And this is what I do at Leadership Speak. I put more than my fair share so that we can grow leaders. So today's meeting is about more than elections. It is a reminder that every speech, every mentorship, every role, everything that we do here is action that plants seeds. And the question is, what are you planning? What are you planning? And since you cannot see this, let me just, there you go. Now you can see it. So as we step into today's meeting, guests, members, dear distinguished guests, we ask you to step into today's meeting and ask yourself, are you just filling a role in Toastmasters, or are you really building a legacy with everything that you do every day? With that, ladies and gentlemen, once more, dear guests, if you've heard so far what we do here and it calls to you, do fill in the guest book. Leah, if you can post that link for the guest book again for our guests so they don't have to scroll up and find the guest link. Please post the link again, Leah. Thank you very much. And let me see, the link is now posted. Thank you very much, Leah, for doing that for us. So dear guests, if you can please post that, use the guest book, click the link and put your name and what you think of the meeting, or if you want to be contacted, where are you from, what club you're from, we would really appreciate that. You'll be given other opportunities during the meeting to do that as well. And I'll remind you later on. Oh, hi, Frida. Thank you for sending me a private message. Hi. So let me see now if I can get my marbles right. Too many things are open here. So the very first thing I want to do is to call on Tony Bratschitsch, distinguished Toastmaster Tony Bratschitsch, to raise the toast. Now, Tony here has been a key figure in creating Leadership Speak. When we were masterminding in January of 2022, he was part of the mastermind as to what this club should do and be, with what direction it should take. And then he became a charter member as well. And through his guidance as the club parliamentarian, we've grown into a very strong club under his guidance. Tony, thank you so much for your service. Over to you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. As you know, this meeting's theme is legacy leadership, or how leaders build their legacies. And as Brahm said, after this meeting, we are going to have our club elections. My toast will focus on a story of legacy leadership just before another election 31 years ago that changed the fate of a nation and that forever inspired people throughout the world. On April the 14th, 1994, there was a television debate between two men. They both believed in change, but they had different ways of doing it. One man was a leader who believed in immediate transformation to fulfill the wants, the pressing needs of society. And the other man was a leader who believed in controlled transition. So they had this debate between two effective leaders who both wanted change before the election. So whose legacy would it be? Who would build their legacy? On one hand, the transformational leader was Nelson Mandela, who was in prison for 27 years and was released from prison 3 years earlier, 1990. On the other hand, was the transitional leader, Frederick de Klerk, the president of South Africa, who ordered the release of Nelson Mandela from jail. During this television debate, President de Klerk demonstrated his mastery of debating skills and his depth of knowledge on policies and procedures. It's really slick. In contrast, Nelson Mandela was, a bit awkward, sporadic, and all over the map during the debate. When the debate between these two co-winners of the Nobel Peace Prize the year earlier was over, it appeared that President de Klerk made the best impression. However, something remarkable, something of historical significance happened. When the televising of the debate was supposedly off, and I say supposedly, Nelson Mandela walked over to Frederick de Klerk, held out his hand, and said 9 words that changed the fate of South Africa. Those 9 words, which were made apparently off camera, those 9 words were, "Thank you for being a true son of Africa." So although the cameras and microphones were supposed to be off, they were not. And those 9 words, "Thank you for being a true son of Africa," were heard across the world. It revealed Nelson Mandela's authentic character. His passion was a source of his strength, resilience, and tolerance. And there, the world saw it, heard it. Later, de Klerk acknowledged that those 9 words established a legacy for Nelson Mandela that ultimately won the election for him. Now, another transformational leader, Mahatma Gandhi, said, "You must be the change you want to see in the world." Nelson Mandela, with his passion, was the one who helped change the fate of South Africa. He was the change. So no matter where you are on your leadership path, whether it's transforming change or building stability or transitioning anywhere in between, as the circumstances would dictate, your passion will create your legacy. Be the change. Be the legacy leader with your passion for self-driven leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please unmute, open your videos, raise your glasses, join me in a toast. Here's to legacy leadership.
Here's
Legacy leadership.
Legacy leadership.
Yeah, to legacy leadership.
Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Tony, thank you for being a true member of Leadership Speak. I wouldn't say a true son of Leadership Speak. So, and the cameras are rolling, of course. Thank you for that profound story about de Klerk and Nelson Mandela. I didn't know about that story, and I come from Africa, Kenya, of course, but I didn't know that story. So thank you for bringing that to home to us here today. And we have quite a number of members from Southern Africa and the rest of Africa as well. In fact, Leadership Speak has more members from Africa, especially Kenya, where I'm from Kenya. So we have the most numbers by country from Kenya and by continent or by region from Africa as well. Africa is a thriving, growing continent. People are hungry to learn, and that's why it's reflected in our membership. Dear guests, stay tuned. I will now move on to our next role here, and let me see. Our next role is, of course, our timer, and our timer is Bindu Thakapan, I believe. Bindu,
Yes.
how's Chennai today?
Chennai is having rains today. Thank you, Brahm.
And one thing I would like the people here to know, especially our guests, because the members probably know, is that you are a doctor, a neurologist, I believe, right, in Chennai?
Yes, that's
And
right. That's true.
and here you are doing the timer's role. You are a big neurologist doctor. So the humility that we bring to the membership is just incredible, and I'm totally moved by that, Bindu. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Brahm. Very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all Toastmasters and the guests. My name is Dr. Bindu Thangapan, and I am your timer for today's meeting. I shall time you, the speakers as well as the evaluators, according to the times that is given on the agenda. After each session, I will post them in the chat box. And then I'll flash as per the timing that has been given on the agenda. So first, it will be green. Next, it will be yellow. And last, it will be red. There will be a grace time of about 30 seconds once the red card is flashed. And that is the time for the speaker to wind up. Thank you very much. Over to you, Brahm.
Bindu, thank you very much for serving, and thank you for being our timer today. And I hope that you're going to partake. I know you've been a bit busy. You haven't been around as much as you would like to, as much as I would like you to as well. So hopefully we can get you a bit more engaged, and your profession takes you to many different places and keeps you busy. Thank you. Our next role is, of course, somebody who's going to be reading the dictionary or referring the dictionary. Our grammarian is dear friend, distinguished Toastmaster Sandra Waltz, and she's going to be cultivating something, I believe. Sandra.
Thank you. Absolutely cultivating throughout all of our long lives. Many of us have had long lives. We have been spending our time cultivating that legacy leadership, whether it be at Toastmasters or in our families or in our careers, in our community. So today it is to cultivate. It's a verb, meaning if you cultivate an attitude, image, or skill, you try hard to develop it and make it strong or better. For example, she has modeled the cultivation of a positive approach to life and balance when dealing with members. I invite you to use the word cultivate, cultivating. Any of its derivatives will be quite acceptable, and to consider just what it means inside your heart. I will be collecting quotes and how many people are using the word, hopefully, because it's hard to listen and enjoy and then listen for those things. I'll do my best. Back to you, Brahm.
Thank you, Sandra. Is your hand okay? I see that you got something on your hand. You all right there?
Carpal tunnel come back again, so it's just.
Oh, I see. You didn't sort of hit something, right?
No. Nobody around to hit. I have to hit myself. I'm not doing that.
All right, let's cultivate. And please, members, guests, either in the chat or when you're speaking, use the word cultivate as many times as you can in your speaking so that we can get the count to over 20. That's my personal challenge. So let's see what we can do today. Now, normally in our meetings, we have one education speaker and then 4 or 5 other speakers. Today, we will have the education speaker and only 3 speakers because we need to finish just before 11:30 so we can release our guests and then do the elections. And of course, there's a question for me while I was speaking. They said, put a question. They said, what is that thing that you teach on Tuesdays? From Frida. Frida is from Kenya, I believe. And we would love to have you, Frida, as a member. So what do I teach on Tuesdays? Is we coach and mentor how to become a better leader and how to become a better speaker. And out of that, quite a number of people want to become world champions of public speaking because of the level of coaching and mentoring that happens on our Tuesday meetings is very, very deep. And the evaluations are very, very deep, as well as we teach how to become a much better leader. So that happens on Tuesday, Frida. I hope you can consider becoming a member. I know we've already spoken a while. Okay. I know I'm addressing the questions as they come out, private questions, rather than scramble around later on to answer them. Our next role, now that we're going to go into the speaking roles, but before I do that, Leah, if you can post the guest book again for our guests so that now they are hearing even more, they're getting even more warmed up. Oh, it's already there. Guests, the link is in the chat. So let's move on to the education. I think this is it. That's right. So our education speaker is Irish Cassinela, and if you can spotlight Irish for me here, that'd be great. That's his brain, by the way, over here. You know, that's inside what's happening in Irish's head. Irish, are you ready? Irish, can you unmute yourself?
Good morning.
Well,
Good
good to have you.
morning. Good
And
afternoon.
Irish
Good
is
evening,
from
everyone.
Angola. Welcome, Irish, and looking forward
That's
to
right.
your education presentation. And to evaluate him is
Thank you.
Said. I think we have a lag in timing in how you can hear me. Sabnam is from Dubai, however, and she's here. It's getting cooler in Dubai, right, Sabnam?
No, it's
No,
very hot.
it's still hot. Oh, sorry, it's getting hotter.
We
Of course,
cannot,
you're in the northern hemisphere. That's like we are in
we
Canada.
cannot go out.
I believe that. I believe that. Yes, absolutely. So, Sabnam is the evaluator. Tell us what you'll be doing here today for Irish Cassinela.
President, fellow Toastmasters, Toastmaster of the day, good evening from my side of the world. The purpose of the speech for Toastmaster Irish today is to present a keynote style speech exemplifying a professional level speaker's point of view or message in a style that supports the speech content. All the best and over to you.
Thank you, Sabnam. Irish is from Angola and he works on an oil platform. So 1 month he's on the oil platform, 1 month he's off the platform at home. What a schedule. And when he's on the oil platform, he works 12 hours a day. That's intense. Today he's here to present an educational speech based on the theme, How Do Leaders Create Legacy? And he's going to speak with the title, Leading with Purpose, Creating a Lasting Impact. Leading with Purpose, Creating a Lasting Impact, Irish Cassinela.
Thank you very much indeed, Brahm. And thank you very much indeed for your leadership. How is every one of us creating a meaningful leadership within the Leadership Speak community? How is each one of you creating a legacy leadership where you are? Within your career, within your church, within your community? What leadership legacy are you creating? How do you want to be remembered after your departure? When I asked myself these questions, I felt it was very deep. We all know that we'll be gone. We are not here forever. We'll be gone. And Brahm mentioned that we'll be leaving Leadership Speak in some point in time. So what leadership legacy is every one of us creating so that we can leave that behind after we depart. Let me start with the what. What is leadership legacy? We have heard a lot of stories from great people in the world, and I will not mention them here, but we know exactly when we speak about leadership legacy, what names come to mind. But let me start with what. What is a leadership legacy? As we ponder and cultivate what is required for us to leave behind after our tenure, let's focus on what it is and what it exactly means. And I bring some of the scientific research, and I'll be blending that with my own experience within my leadership career in the last 15 to 17 years within the oil and gas industry. So leadership legacy is about leaving behind a lasting impact after our tenure, after our lifetime. It's about the values that we stand for. It's about the principles that we stand for. It's about the achievements that we go after and leave behind that does not only influence the present generations, but will also influence generations to come. It's about building a legacy that shape future generations. This is the what. Let me shift gears to the how. How do you build a successful leadership legacy? It all starts with having a vision. And there are pause here and share a personal story. The company I worked for, one of the major oil and gas companies, top 3 in the world. You know, and thanks Brian for mentioning that I'm from Angola, West Africa. So 25 years ago, the oil and gas industry was not as developed as it is today. So we relied a lot on external know-how, UK, US, that brought the technology to Angola and the know-how. And the vision that they had as they came to Angola is to develop the local content, i.e. the nationals, to be able to operate our oil and gas facilities. That's the vision that they had 25 years ago. With their know-how, their technology, develop nationals to be able to run the oil and gas company successfully. So that was the vision. So we need always to cultivate and share the vision that we do have as leaders, so we can work towards achieving that vision. The vision is about, and it is sustained by purpose and by goals. It needs to be able to have a visionary outlook beyond the present. And fellow leaders, and esteemed guests, as you build your vision, make sure you deliver that with the passion and consistency and the discipline. If we shift gears back to leadership speak, what are we cultivating in leadership speak? What's our culture? What's our tradition within leadership speak? As we develop and leave a legacy beyond our lifetime, what culture do we have? What traditions do we have within leadership speak? Which and each one of us within the leadership speak is cultivating to leave behind. So vision is critical. The second pillar is leading by example. And I do like the support that I get, not just from Brahm, but from every single leaders with Leadership Speak. The connection, the network, the support, it's truly remarkable. And trust me, I have been in many groups. It's nothing like this. The support, the care, the genuine care that I see within Leadership Speak is really remarkable. It sets a true stone. And I'm eager to see how and what legacy Brian's going to leave behind after his departure. Eager to see what legacy is each one of us leaving behind after we depart. Leading by example is critical. Are we leading by example ourselves? Do you have integrity? Are we holding each one accountable within Leadership Speak? Accountability is critical. I really like the tone set in Leadership Speak. It's a very mature tone with the respect, but I do feel how I'm held into account within Leadership Speak. I do feel the accountability that the role of being a member of Leadership Speak carries. It's a weight that cannot be ignored. Within lead the example pillar, what standards do we have? What are the standards within Leadership Speak? I can tell you, being in many groups, in many communities, the standards are pretty high. And to be able to leave a leadership legacy behind, you do need to have high standards. And I do see these standards every single day within Leadership Speak. The third pillar is developing and empowering others. As I came to Leadership Speak, within the first month, I was requested to deliver a speech. This is really empowering the members of Leadership Speak to take roles and move forward. It's about empowering each one of us. It's about developing each one of us. Practice, practice, practice. That's what we do every single day. That's part of our development. Like I said, within the organization I worked for, the vision was to be able to run the oil and gas operations with local content. And the development and empowerment of nationals was on the top priority. And I am a fruit of this leadership legacy that that company left behind. Fast forward 17 years from an entry-level technician to a leadership role, a senior leadership role. It's a true legacy that that company is left behind. So what legacy are we leaving behind within Leadership Speak? Are we developing our people enough? Are we empowering our members enough to make sure that we leave a legacy behind? It's truly remarkable to see how Leadership Speak does nurture future leaders. And again, I know, and Brahm mentioned that some of the fellow Toastmasters that come to Leadership Speak have vision to compete globally within the speaking arena. That's about nurturing future leaders, future speakers, and not excellence, but revolutionary speaking. So within the development and empowering people, we need to make sure that each one of us is not only being coached and mentored, but also we need to be able to coach and mentor others. So every single one of you, if you ask your question, if you are coaching and mentoring others enough, definitely to be able to leave a legacy behind, it's critical that we continue to mentor and coach others. Let's coach and mentor each other. So that is pillar number 3. So develop and empower others. which includes mentoring and coaching. Another pillar in building successful leadership legacy is achievements and results. I'm very happy to say that Leadership Speak has had a lot of awards. Those are achievements. That's what creates legacy. Quite a lot of achievements, awards that Leadership Speak got in the last little years in existence. So what results, what achievements are we leaving behind? And like I said, achievements that Leadership Speak is presenting that suggest that the legacy is being built, and it's been built with a solid foundation. So achievements and results. It's about making a change. It's about social change and innovation. It's about tangible evidence, and the words are tangible evidence that Leadership Speak is leaving behind. So achievements and results. If you're building a successful leadership, make sure that you're leaving tangible evidence. It's not enough to speak. We need to be able to demonstrate results. So can we ask that question ourselves? Are we leaving results, achievements that justify that we are really and truly building a leadership legacy that will be sustainable for the future generations, that will shape the future generations? Are we doing this enough? Last but not least is giving back, is creating a social impact. Are we giving back enough? Is every single one of us giving enough of us, of our knowledge, of our expertise to each other, to the society? Is it going beyond the Leadership Speak? How to build a legacy, how to build a last and impactful and meaningful leadership legacy. It's about creating a vision, leading by example, developing and empowering others, delivering results or achievements, and giving back to the society. I cannot finish my speech without mentioning some of the key individuals around the world, and allow me to shift gears beyond Toastmasters, Leadership Speak. For example, when you speak about innovation, what names comes to mind in terms of legacy? What comes to my mind is Steve Jobs. In terms of technology and innovation, truly, Steve Jobs has left behind a legacy, a product that is used today around the world, and he will always be remembered. Is each one of you leaving a legacy behind that will shape future generations, that will create an impact, a lasting and meaningful impact after you depart? If nothing more, how are your kids looking at you? How are the family members looking at you? Are you shaping your kids' future by your leadership? Are you shaping your co-workers' future by your leadership? And obviously, Nelson Mandela was also mentioned here today. And when we speak about Nelson Mandela, what comes to mind is always about justice. And obviously, and Brahm mentioned that many of the fellow Toastmasters here come from West Africa, and I'm not different. And what comes to mind is, the reconciliation and peace that man had after 27 plus years in prison, and coming out with that mindset of justice, of reconciliation, of forgiveness, of human rights. This is truly a leadership legacy that continues to shape the generations today and will continue to shape generations to come. Are you doing this yourself? Are you building something that can be truly transformative? Even if it's just within the borders of your own home, your own house, your kids. Are you shaping their future? Because we are all leaders in some form or shape, right? We are all leaders in some form or shape. You're a mother, you're a father, you're a leader. You're leading by example. You're leading your kids. Are you shaping their future? Are you cultivating the skills, the competencies, the education that your kids need to be able to navigate through the world full of challenges, through the world full of difficulties, of changes, which is the only constant? Are you prepared? But not just you. Are your kids prepared? Are the people coming after you prepared? Leadership legacy, the cultivation of the skills, experience that is required to be able not just to shape the current generation, but to continue to shape the generations to come. Martin Luther King, when you speak about equality and the civil rights, you cannot mention Martin Luther King. Of course, you are tired of listening to those names. I'm tired of listening to those names myself. But they are true examples if you want to model how to build and leave behind a true leadership legacy that can shape generations today and generations to come. As we reflect today on this theme, let's pause and ponder over our own lives, our own careers, our own involvement with the community, and ask ourselves, how shall I be remembered after I depart? Or will you just be forgotten, even by your own kids? Ask this myself, what can I leave behind so that it can be remembered? What legacy am I leaving behind? Not only as a leader, but as a father, as a brother, as a sister, as a fellow Toastmasters. The recordings of Leadership Speak are on YouTube. They'll be there forever. Are those truly remarkable to be able to shape future generations after we depart? Fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, ponder on how you want to leave your legacy. Ponder on how you want to be remembered after your tenure. Have a vision. Lead by example, even just as a father, as a leader to your own career. Coach and mentor others. Show results. Show results. Sometimes the path doesn't matter. Show results. Give back to the society. Give back to the community. Back to you, Toastmasters of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Irish. Indeed, I think what Irish said here, and I totally agree, is not only are we building legacy in Leadership Speak and in Toastmasters, as general, we need to build legacy, but also our legacy should be reflected out in the real society, in the real world. What we are doing here in Toastmasters is it's a laboratory to find our voice. We experiment with many different projects and things that we do and how we speak to find our real, authentic voice so that out in the real world we can make an impact. And if we are able to make an impact out in the real world, we should be making an impact in Toastmasters as well, in our clubs, and our clubs should be growing. That is my dream. Here's the thing. that I should mention as well. Because of the legacy that we are creating in this club and the training and the coaching that we are providing, note this, dear guests, and some of the members who are not that engaged, and those who are here now. Here's the thing, note this, very, very important. Are you listening? Several members have been so inspired by the legacy that we are creating. They want to be amongst the top 5 speakers, professional speakers out in the real world. One of the top 5 professional speakers in the real world. This is what they've said they would do. Go figure. That's happening in Leadership Speak. Several members in Leadership Speak are on track eventually to end up at the convention, at Toastmasters International Convention, as finalists and maybe as world champions of public speaking. They're on track. And a number of members are on track to be legends as leaders. They're learning skills of leadership that is not normally available, but we spend the time to teach each other those skills to become those type of leaders. Hence, they are succeeding in their careers as well. I want to thank each and every member that left a profound thank you message for me in the Extraordinariness group. Yes, you heard that right. We have a group called Extraordinariness Group. That's where we explore how to be extraordinary in our daily lives by learning skills at Toastmasters. See, communication is the key primary skill. It is not being an architect. It is not being an engineer. It is communication. Your communication is the key skill that you have. And then on top of that, then you can build whatever you want, whether you want to be a nurse, an architect, janitor, cleaner, doesn't really matter, right? But communication is the key. And that's what we are doing here in Toastmasters. And of course, in Leadership Speak, we go even further down the road into helping each other and adding tremendous amount of value. Having said that, Leah, if you can post that link again. Actually, 6 or 7 guests have already signed the guest book saying, yes, we want to be members, but the link is here again. Thank you, Leah, for posting that link. If you want to be a member or you just are a guest here and want to leave a message for us, having heard Irish Cassinela go in depth for 20 minutes about legacy, please do that. Thank you very much. Now we will move on to our 3 speakers. And our first speaker, let me just check my notes here. There it is. Our first speaker is going to be Holmes Teng. And you can see the title there, right? Let's see what he's going to say when he comes actually to speak. But before we introduce Holmes Teng, who is from Singapore, by the way, so it is 10:30 at night for him. Let's have his evaluator, Renan Ursula. Renan, and would you guess Renan Ursula is from Philippines? That's also 10:30 at night as well. So, Renan, what are you doing for Holmes today?
Holmes Teng will deliver a speech under Visionary Communications Pathway Level 2, Speech Project Number 2, Understanding Communication Styles in 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose statements is for the member to learn about different communication styles and identify his primary style and share the impact on his style on this meeting. Holmes Teng asked me to focus on the key messages that convince the audience and give suggestions for more improvement. That's all, and back to you. Good luck, Holmes Teng.
Thank you, Renan. As you heard, Renan had contacted Holmes and they'd spoken as to what else Holmes would require from this presentation. We insist that evaluators and speakers connect with each other much before the meeting and find out what else the speaker needs so they get the right feedback. Holmes, all the way from Singapore, my friend, hated, hooked by it, harnessed it. Hated it, hooked by it, harnessed it, Holmes Teng.
Thank you, Toastmasters of the day, Brahm. hated it. I was a project team member, and my leader, the project manager, is not making key decisions. His approach is to ask, what do you think? What have the people that you consulted think? And what is your analysis of their point of view? And this could be days before the project was due or important milestone was due. I hated it. The project could be delayed. And as a result, multiple team members have to spend a lot of additional time on the project so that it gets moving. I blamed the project manager. But sometimes life has its way around to teach us what's important in life. Recently, as part of the Toastmasters project of level 2.2, I did a questionnaire to find out what is my dominant communication style. Guess what it is? The supportive style, the style that asks, what do you think? The style that promotes independent thinking. The focus of my speech today will be on 3 parts. Firstly, because now I've come to grow accustomed to this style, I'll let you know what are the key advantages of this particular style. Secondly, because I hated it so much, I'll let you know what are the disadvantages. Then, having talked about why I hated it, why I was hooked onto it, I'll talk about how we can all harness communication styles that we once hated, we learned to grow into it, and then we can now excel. The supportive style is very useful when we have a team who are professionals, who are well educated, when we are in the knowledge economy. We want to promote our team members to become independent thinkers and even self-directed leaders, which leadership speaks, drives it. Being asked to think and being challenged to reach out to key stakeholders to gather their points of view not only builds independent thinking, my independent thinking, but also my rapport with the key customers, key decision makers. But the only time this will work is when team members like myself were willing to put on the extra effort to do it. And I must confess, for a long period of time in my career, I was not. In working hours, instead of spending time to talk to my customers and my key decision makers, guess what was I doing? I was at the pantry gossiping what a poor leader my boss was. In such an approach, in such a time, at such a state where I was, I would say that to only use supportive leadership, supportive communication style was not the best. How then can we combine the advantages of promoting good self-directed leaders, manage people who may not be ready? It may not be that they are not willing, it's just that they are not ready. So that we can promote more self-directed leaders. I think this is where the Toastmasters project did magic for me. This is probably my 4th or my 5th time doing this project. And each time I received something different. In this particular time, it was a stark reminder. I have more than one communication style, even if I score very low in the rest of them because of my preferences. When I have people that are self-directed, when I have people that understand Leadership is about taking ownership of key issues, stepping up, taking actions. My role as a project manager becomes easier. I simply ask, what do you think of this? This is a problem. What is your solution? What are the key things that you propose the team do? And I can assess based on the information that I have that the team member may not have. But when I'm dealing with someone who is less of taking the initiative, who is more focused on, hey, there is a problem. Someone should do something about it. In this scenario, the supportive leadership style may not be the best. I may have to take on a directive style, especially if it is the person's responsibility. This is a work environment. Each and every team member is hired for a particular reason. If the person is not performing up to par, there are times where I have to change my leadership style, perhaps as a directive approach. Hey, team member, this is part of your roles and your responsibilities. You are in charge as an account manager. Talk to your customers. Report back to the team what we should do. Fellow self-directed leaders and guests of Leadership Speak, we are all here because we are interested in leaders, because we want to become the best communicators and leaders in the world. If not the greatest of all time in our respective chosen field. When it comes to communication, there is no hard and fast rule, I realize. It's about each of us being very carefully evaluating what is the context and people we're dealing with. What are our goals and aspirations that we need to drive our team towards? And then we choose. Are our people ready to be supported to grow? Our people need to be told what to do. Are there different variations we need to deal with? So at the end of the day, whatever style we may be, fellow self-directed leaders, we embrace it, we learn to love the advantages of it. At the same time, when we know that something doesn't work, we look for and we embrace other styles. So communication is in our hands. We own it and we choose what is best. Self-directed leaders, are you ready to take your communication to the next level and always choose the most appropriate communication style? Thank you so much. Back to Toastmasters of the day, Brahm, Memone, DTM.
Thank you. Absolutely. Even though we do know our styles, there may be a predominant style. Here we learn how to be flexible, learn the other styles that would adding value to others. If we are just fixed on just one particular tiny style, it doesn't really add value. You'll be only useful in certain circumstances. But when we understand this is my current style, and then how can I add other things and learn other skills so that I can speak to a much wider audience and much wider projects. Holmes here is a project manager, and so he definitely uses a lot of different styles rather than just supportive style. Thank you, Holmes. Our next speaker is our speaker number 2, and that is Angela Brown. Hello, Angela. Hey, how are you doing, Angela?
Hi, how are you? I'm good, thank you.
By the way, Angela lives like literally 30 to 40 kilometers from where I am. So she's in the greater Toronto region. And looking forward to her presentation. Her evaluator is going to be Nicole Whyte. Nicole, how are you? And by the way, Nicole lives literally 5 miles from where I am, or even less. It's amazing.
I'm
Nicole,
excellent.
what are you doing for Angela?
Thank you, Brahm. I'm pleased to evaluate Angela Brown. Angela is delivering a speech from the Engaging Humor Path. It's the level 3, project number 2, Introduction to Toastmaster Mentoring. Now, the purpose of this project is for Angela to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. And the purpose of the speech is for her to share some aspect of her previous experience as a protege. I'm looking forward to Angela's delivery. She has asked me to focus on her ability to keep the audience engaged with humor and gestures. Her speech length is 7 minutes. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Brahm.
Sorry. I have something in my throat.
Oh, I just realized you're muted. Get some water.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so
no worries.
I apologize. First of all, the title up here is not right. The title is actually supposed to be Missing in Action. It is on the agenda, so look at the agenda. Something I was eating a little while ago just got in my throat. Which means the lesson learned is, as a Toastmaster of the day, don't eat anything in between. All right, lesson learned. Okay. So this is not the title. The title is Missing in Action. Angela Brown. By the way, before I go on, the other thing about Angela Brown is she's finished all the requirements for a DTM except one project to do, I think, a youth leadership project. And then she will be, I'm sure she will be a DTM by the fall of this year. Angela Brown, Missing in Action, Angela Brown.
Have you ever been so excited about starting something new, only to realize that you're the only one who got the memo? Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. That was me 4.5 years ago, joining Toastmasters, at notebook in hand, ready to be mentored into greatness. I was so the club president told me that I would be getting a mentor. I was so excited. I would have someone who would guide me, support me, and clap dramatically after each of my speeches. He told me I can choose the person I want to be my mentor. So of course, I chose the person who had invited me to Toastmasters in the first place. Someone wise, someone smart and very intelligent. Her response, I don't think I'm equipped enough to be a mentor. The club president said, well, I have someone else for you to be your mentor. He is an award-winning speaker. He's perfect. He's won everything. So I did my first speech, the icebreaker speech, and I sent it to my mentor, excitingly waiting for his response. He responded, and a quote or a question at the beginning of your speech. That's it. No good job, no context, no tips, nothing. Just add a quote. I thought I should have a quote that says that I'm very confused right now. Nevertheless, I adjusted this and presented the speech, and hoping that the next time would be better. A few weeks later, I wrote my second speech, and I sent it once again to my mentor for his response. I was so anxious, I kept pacing and pacing, waiting for the response. No response, no reply. What? Are you kidding me? I was so shocked as I waited days on days, weeks on weeks, no response. That was 4.5 years later, and I still haven't gotten a response. I've had Amazon packages that have been delivered faster than that response. Anyways, I continued speech by speech, level by level, cultivating my own voice. when I reached level 3, I asked the mentor, I asked the president if I could have a mentor. And he said, no, you've gone this far by yourself. You don't need anybody. Just keep going. Okay. I learned what to do by asking questions, watching what others do, volunteering for everything, even if it's at 7 a.m. in the morning. I was determined to be the best that I could be, even without a mentor. By being a mentor, you should be cultivating others through their voice, their confidence, and their self-esteem. That's what having a mentor should do. So the time came that I was a mentor. I was panicked. Oh, what if I'm not good enough? What if I become like Ghost Mentor 2.0? But no, I knew that wouldn't happen because I made the vow that no mentor of mine would ever wonder if I had joined the Toastmasters Witness Protection Program. Joining Toastmasters has given me a lot. It has helped me to be a better mentor. And one lesson learned is if you don't get the mentor you wanted, then become the mentor someone else deserves. By joining Toastmasters, I've learned I've learned to cultivate my voice. I've learned my independence, and I learned my why. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Well, at least you did hear back from that mentor 4.5 years later. So, of course, you have to find the right mentors. And sometimes we learn lessons and we can become even better mentors when we see that our mentors were not doing what they were supposed to be doing. It is one of the key things in Toastmasters, especially, to be able to get the right mentors who will guide you. And so those of you who have mentors, go thank them for their mentoring. And if you're not being served well, do ask around for another mentor. If you come to Leadership Speak, you will be mentored and coached, and you will grow rapidly. Our next speaker, I'm really looking forward to this, and I never know what I'll get. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you get in the box of chocolates. Paramjit Singh. Sometimes it is very humorous, and sometimes it is all about leadership, and I don't know what I'm going to get today with Paramjit Singh. So Paramjit, I'm really looking forward to it. And his evaluator is Nthari Mohahanso from South Africa. We'll wait for Nthari. There you go. Nthari, what are you doing for Paramjit today?
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Paramjit will be presenting a speech from Presentation Mastery Pathway, Level 3, Project number 1, which is 5 to 7 minutes, a persuasive speaking test. The purpose of his speech is for him to understand the types of persuasive speeches and to deliver a persuasive speech at a club meeting. He asked me to watch him speak and assess if he has been able to persuade the audience with his idea. Thank you very much. And back to you.
Thadi, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Paramjit all the way from Dubai. Domo arigato. Domo arigato Paramjit Singh. And I hope I did pronounce it well.
Absolutely, sir. Hello, everyone. This was another beginning of the week. Very good Monday. I just settled down in my computer chair, pressed the power button, and just relaxed and ready for getting to the daily routine. And it popped up. Your password has expired. Oh my God, again, the same thing. Every month, I have to change the password. It's like a toxic love relationship. When you feel you are comfortable, you have to start it again. And change was the last thing I was expecting in this week. Life has shown so much of surprises for me, emotionally, personally, professionally. I was really frustrated. And the body was also not working. It was like a 10% of the battery life. My motivation, zero. So I can't do anything. I have to do it. It has to be done. So I looked at the blinking cursor and start thinking of putting a number, combination of numbers and alphabets, so to make an unforgettable password. Oh, it was very difficult. I may forget in 5 minutes also. So as I jumbled few words, I found, and I remembered advice from my happiness coach. He said, use a password which transformed you. This totally changed my thinking about it. And he has given us some examples. So I started brainstorming that how can I put a password which can empower me. After waiting for a few minutes, I put Arigato. So Arigato means thanks. However, my computer didn't understand my awakening. He didn't appreciate my awakening. And he again said, not strong enough. Use the combination of words, symbols, lowercase, uppercase letters. Oh my. So now I change it to Arigato @ 100%. Means gratitude, 100%. Thanks, 100%. So every time I was logging in, it was reminding me, be grateful. Start of the day, Arigato @ 100%. Lunchtime, Arigato @ 100%. And computer crash, Arigato @ 100%. Spilled biryani on the keyboard, Arigato @ 100%. So every time it was giving me and reminding me, be grateful. At the start, it was really frustrating, but the repetition worked. The more I typed, the more I felt. It changed my mindset. It increased my patience, my presence, and hopefulness. My body became energetic. That was something amazing. So I continued doing it the same. However, again next month, the same popped up again. Your password has expired. But this time I was ready. I was already changed. So I raised the bar of my gratitude and put it over there. Domo arigato @ 100%. Domo arigato means thank you very much. So previously it was just thanks. Now it was thank you very much. Now this password, it was just not my login. It has become my daily affirmation. It triggered my transformation. It changed me from a person with a complaining attitude to a grateful attitude. Even my classmates or my workers, they were really happy and say, we're happy. Maybe they were missing my outbursts. So a small trick of changing the password, a frustrating IT requirement, become my empowering tool. So my dear friends, what I'm going to stress upon is we type a lot of words on the daily basis on our computer on the autopilot. Why waste it? Why we don't use such a password which can rewire our brain? What if the password is not only secure, but inspiring? Let's try it. Rather than saying, let me in, we can type, I am enough. Welcome at the 225. Grateful for life. Boss, hashtag idiot. I love my boss. So this password change or the change in password can really not be only login, but it will change the outlook. It will help you to transform yourself. So, my dear friends, when next time your computer says or popped up, your password has expired, don't get angry. Be happy. It is another opportunity to transform. Don't waste your password with a simple jumble of words, but make it a words which can empower you, which can become your mantra, which can become your guide for life. So just change the word and your password, and you will see how it changes you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Did you guys laugh? I said you never know what you can get with Paramjit. This was absolutely hilarious. And so, you know, if you ever want to break into Paramjit's computer, it could be boss hashtag idiot or Domo Arigato 100%. Either one of those might work. Oh boy. Thank you, Paramjit, for making us laugh. So, dear guests, we have come to the end of our speakers. We only had 3 speakers today. We wanted to finish a bit early, and also it gave me some time to sort of speak a bit longer in between the speeches and to introduce the club to our guests as well. With that, ladies and gentlemen, let me check and see my agenda and see what's next on our agenda. So I believe I should be asking, that is right, the timers report. Bindu, if you can put the timers report in the chat for us. Oh, there it is already. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And let's keep cultivating our what was I going to say? Let's keep cultivating our speakers by voting for the best effort speaker today. Jyoti, the Zoom master, if you can launch the poll for us, that'll be great. And if you can all vote for the effective speaker, I would urge, of course, all the guests and all the members and everyone present here to vote. You can all vote, so please do that. Jyoti, let us know when you have launched the thing. Oh, there it is. And please do scroll down to see all the speakers. Actually, today you may not have to scroll down. Thank you for the voting. Okay, while that is going on, I would like to introduce to you, of course, a very, very important person who's been watching us with a hawk eye as to what we've been up to. And who could that be, possibly be, but our general evaluator. Now, let us see. Jyoti, keep the poll rolling for a little while because only 24 people have voted. So keep the poll rolling. In the meantime, I would like to call on the general evaluator as well. I know now, Jyoti, you're probably scrambling. Paramjit, if you can help Jyoti with that. Now she's doing 2 things at a time. So our general evaluator is Arouna. So and we'll wait for him to bring forward. And he's been watching us from his satellite, watching everything from 30,000 feet and seeing how we've been doing, what we've been doing in this meeting. So we'll wait for Arouna to be spotlighted. There he is. Arouna, how's Senegal today? Arouna is from Africa's Senegal, I believe, right, Arouna?
Right, I'm from Senegal. I'm living in Dakar, which is the capital of Senegal. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here, Arouna, and over to you as our GE. Over to you.
Thank you, dear TMOD Run. Good morning, fellow Toastmaster and guest. Today, I have the honor to serve you as a General Evaluator, and I'm in charge of the overall assessment of the meeting, and I will be assisted by a team of evaluators. The first evaluator is our dear Zahra Moharrer, who will evaluate the toast. Please, Zoom Master, can you spotlight Zahra Moharrer? Zahra, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator. Tony, amazing toast. In attributing, wait, I close this window. In attributing to legacy leaders, you asked me to evaluate the effectiveness of the story on the theme legacy leaders. You cultivate the image and the path step by step, one break at a time, towards the key message, which what I got was your passion, create legacy, be the change, and be the leader. Well done on that. You tried to use the purpose of your toast, which was legacy leaders, through the story of Nelson Mandela. What I loved about it was you tried to use the effective elements of storytelling or story writing, let's say. What we need for story writing was that you went through the context, you bring up the setting, you talk about what was the time, 1994, what was this set, what was the location, it was South Africa, and what was the context, a presidential debate between two leaders, supposedly. So you tried to introduce these two characters by their way that they try to look at the world. One of them transitional and the other one, well, transformational. Well done on that. And we get along with you. It was a very well established and structured story writing. And at the time that we believe that it's over and Nelson Mandela wouldn't be president, the climax happened. It's something that changed the world when he showed the true, authentic Nelson Mandela. And that was the time that he mentioned those 9 words. If I want to propose 2 small things that enhance the delivery, I think, that would be the posture. I noticed you were sitting and I just could see the upper part of your body. The hand gestures were missing. That ignite, especially for toast, for those who wanted to just get along with the meeting, that go through this more enthusiastically. So please, next time, maybe you stand up when you're just showing the toast and you want to deliver it. And the second one was the background. preferably, it's good to remove the background because in some parts your hand movement was cut off and we couldn't see your smooth movement of the toast and the way that could be effective. All in all, your speech, the storytelling was awesome, great, all elements were there, and you may focus on virtual background or the posture. With that, thank you very much, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Zahra, for this feedback on the methods. And we did well. We started by the thing Tony did well. And then we mentioned the room of improvement. Two things, the posture. It's better to stand up when you are delivering a speech. And after that, the background the used during the speech. So thank you for that. And now we will move on to our second speech evaluator, which is Terrence. Terrence will evaluate. Terrence will evaluate our second speech delivered by Angela Brahm. Terrence, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I will be evaluating the Toastmaster of the day, that is Brahm Memone. First and foremost, each and every meeting is like an open house. And I must say, this meeting was run like an open house. I'll talk about three things that I found effective on your execution, Brahm. The first one was execution, engagement, and the Zoom presence. You can spell it out as easy, double E, then Z. And of course, I'll give you an area where you can challenge yourself. In terms of execution, as self-directed leaders, the first point that comes when someone is assigned as a Toastmaster of the day is connecting with their leadership speaker. It was evident right from the start that this happened, right from the selection of the theme and the subsequent steps that led us to this meeting. This was evident, and I congratulate you on that, on connecting with your leadership speaker. The second thing about execution is how the leaders had a chance to perform their tasks or their duties as leaders. And that was through the WhatsApp group that was formed behind the scenes. I know this meeting leads up to the election, and you went beyond the simple meeting and also touched on elections where you were able to perform your duties with regards to the elections, as well as the duties that pertain to this meeting specifically. And the second part, which is engagement, I like your Zoom presence and how you are able, your engagement with the audience, how you are able to go beyond the basics that we normally see in any meeting, getting to intricate details of the members and the people you introduced and interacted with, including some guests whom we haven't interacted with individually. And that was well executed. That pertains to engagement. An engaged audience is an audience that will keep coming back. And when you look at the objectives of being a Toastmaster of the day, it means you get more sign-ups, you get more people coming back to this meeting. And finally, I'll talk about the Zoom presence. I like how you were able to use technology to your advantage, including your branded background and the graphics that we were able to see as you continued right from the introduction and on through introducing each and every speaker. That was excellent. And I would encourage any speaker who would want to get to that level to reach out to you and learn about that. And this leads me to an area of improvement. It is only one thing I noticed, and it's about connecting, which we already do. It's just an area where you can go further. For instance, if it's a pronunciation of the title of a speech, it's something where there's an opportunity to connect with the speaker and do it more effectively. With that, congratulations on the execution of this role. where you excelled at execution, engagement, and Zoom presence, and where you are challenged to improve or to connect more for that specific area. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terrence, for his feedback on our Toastmaster of the Day role. And now we will move on to the evaluator of leadership speak, which is our dear Sadnan Said. Zoom Master, can you spotlight Sadnan Said, please? Sadna will evaluate Iris Cassinela speech. Over to you, Sadna.
What legacy will you leave behind? General Evaluator, President, fellow Toastmasters, and specifically Toastmaster Irish, good evening from my side of the world. Toastmaster Irish today delivered an inspirational speech. He inspired us to work hard, be accountable, earn and give respect, continue to work to do the good work, maintain high standards, empower others, and keep practicing. There were several highlights in his speech for me, some of them being number one, emphasizing on leaving the legacy behind throughout the speech. This was the concept of the speech, and he kept on emphasizing on it throughout. Secondly, connectivity, be it the connection with leadership speak, or parents and kids, or your own peers, how you empower them and leave a legacy behind. Throughout, with specifically with these three, I connected instantly. Then also explanation of the concept of leadership legacy by giving known examples like Nelson Mandela, Steve Jobs, and Martin Luther King. Well, of course, I do have a couple of suggestions. Number one, hand gestures, body language, and voice modulation. Throughout the speech, the speaker's one hand kept on was used to explain. I wish he had placed the laptop on a distance so his at least half body was visible, and he used both his hands because it was a grand speech. I don't know if that's the correct way to explain it. So his gestures should also have been like that, like leadership, legacy. I wish he could have done that. Then voice modulation. There were several points in his speech where he could have used voice modulation. Like he could have created some drama. Like, let me give you the example of Nelson Mandela, something like that. Then number two, repetitiveness of leadership legacy, as in repeating the same sentences. This happened in the first half when explaining leadership legacy. Same point happened when coaching and mentoring was mentioned, and again when talking about kids. The same sentences kept on repeating. Point number three, structure, opening and closing. The opening and closing was strong, but the body of this speech needed more structure. For example, when explaining how do we leave a legacy behind, a PowerPoint presentation could have been used with a clear background, because while explaining empowering others, the speaker started explaining about his 17 years of experience, the point which was mentioned before these points. And then he went back to the same point. So number your points because they are a big highlight, and one kind of an explanation should be done earlier. And then while you're giving some points, just mention them and use a powerful PowerPoint presentation so that the points become clearer. Number four, quotes. You had Martin Luther King, you had Nelson Mandela in your speech. They have excellent quotes on leadership legacy. Use them. So yes, in order to conclude, great content, great explanation of the concept. Just remember these 4 points and you have a great speech at your hand. All the best, and over to you.
Thank you, Sadnan, for this feedback on Iris' speech. I noticed that you did great. You started by things Iris did well, and also we mentioned the thing on which you can improve, especially body language, vocabulary, and the structure of his speech. And you ended your speech by sum up all your feedbacks. So thank you for this feedback. And now we will move to the evaluation to our first speakers today. Almost Teng, which will be evaluated by Renan Ersila. Renan Ersila, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster General Evaluator. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, especially Toastmasters Holmes Teng, who delivered an insightful and authentic speech titled Hated It, Hook It, Hooked by It, Harness It. It was a strong reflection on communication, growth, and leadership. What good about the speech? The speech has a strong opening and structure. Toastmaster Holmes began with vulnerability, admitting he hated the supportive style, which instantly grabbed our attention as audience. The title was catchy and your points were clearly organized, sharing your journey from disliking the style to realizing you use it, created it, a personal and relatable book. What better real-life application? Holmes, the example of your project timeline shrinking from 18 months to 8 to 9 months was a strong moment of reflection. You didn't just describe your style, you showed us how it was tested. The part about promoting your team members highlighted your growth as a supportive leader. To make this moment more convincing during your speech, I suggest using vocal variety, especially mimic how you spoke when you're encouraging your team member. This would add emotional impact and help the audience feel the shift. What best? Your presence, Holmes, and the purpose of your speech. You look composed and professional, and your message was clear to you. Know your dominant style and flex when needed. Your voice was strong and confident. Now, if you widen your hand gesture slightly, it will look further, boost your presence, and reinforce your key points. In summary, but good, honest, and well-structured. Better, the real-life reflection with you. But best, strong presence with a message that matters. With just a bit more vocal and physical variety, your message will not just inform, it will truly inspire. Well done, Holmes. Congratulations. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Renan. Congratulations to you also for this wonderful evaluation. Well structured, starting by things Holmes did well and also room for improvement, vocabulary, zone present, and also you mentioned the objective of this speech, which is understanding your communication style. And now we will move on to the evaluator of Angela Brown's speech. The speech will be evaluated by Nicole Whyte. Nicole, the floor is yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator Arouna. Angela, missing in action. What I appreciated most about your speech was your inspiring outlook, which motivated the audience. So you excelled at your speech structure. The speech title is clear and the entire content aligns perfectly. We knew from the start that when you joined Toastmaster, you sought out for a mentor, and we got to hear the outcome of that. While we heard the results, you injected a number of humorous expressions. Your opening was indeed exemplary. You started with a captivating one, and you asked us a question. You asked it the correct way as well. You said, "Have you ever?" Second, your engagement with the audience. And this is something you asked me to look out for. You have achieved this. Your Zoom presence was exceptional. You stood, you delivered with confidence. Your body language, especially your hand gestures, they were appropriate. Your delivery came to life through your facial expressions, your vocal variety, emphasis, and your pacing. Throughout the speech, you had the audience attention. We saw it in the chat. That translated into our attention, and we stayed with you through the end. That's exemplifying an exceptional speaker. Third, your use of humor. I liked how you compared the efficiency of your Amazon delivery and the mentor who didn't get back to you after waiting for 4 years. I only have one suggestion where you could have taken the speech further. But this suggestion is more of a top-up because you had a fairly good closing. Sorry, you had a fairly great speech. But I think it could have been elevated and be more impactful if you had some visual aids, maybe, just some ideas for creativity. So like a cloth or a flag, when that mentor was missing in action and you lift that red flag, and then a green flag when you started and doing your thing. So becoming that mentor and finding your voice. So that's the only suggestion for me. So in summary, great content, excellent Zoom presence and gestures, exemplary use of humor. If you could just work on your creativity with some visual aids, that would be an exceptional moment for you now and many more to come. Looking forward for more great delivery from you, Angela. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Nicole, for this feedback on Angela Brown's speech. Well structured, and you handed by the suggestion, one suggestion, how Angela can improve her next speech, and that was great. And now we will move to our last speech, evaluator, but not the least. And our last evaluator is Ntaki Mukenso. So I hope I pronounce your name very well. So Zoom Master, can you spotlight our speech evaluator, which is Ntaki Mukenso? Zoom Master. Right. Ntaki, the floor is yours.
TM Paramjit, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The TM has been effective and achieved the objective of his project to persuade the audience on being positive when changing the password. The introduction grabbed my attention because it made me curious to know what was to follow. I was able to see him when he started his wake. The story, the narrative that he made about the frustration he got every time when he was to change the password, is a frustration that most of us can relate to. In his persuasive speech, the title was linked to his entire speech up to the conclusion. Domo, Arigato. And every time he modulated his voice to ensure that we pay attention to his speech. Fellow Toastmasters, did you notice how he used logic to persuade the audience to look at the positivity and come up with positive ideas whenever one has to change a password, a laptop or a computer password? It was interesting to learn the meaning of Domo Arigato, which is thank you very much. He successfully persuaded me, and I trust that even other members of the audience were persuaded. He continued to engage the audience with his signature prop, humor. I have the following that the Toastmaster may consider to work on. One, to avoid or do away with the unpleasant pleasantries. Hello, everyone, as it takes time. It takes from his time that has been allocated to just jump into his speech and his framing as well, because the greater part of his body was below. You should adjust the camera appropriately so that his gestures can be visible. Back to you, Mr. Evaluator.
Domo Arigato, Ntati, for this evaluation. And I agree with you. Paramjit's speech was well structured, with emote from the beginning to the end. And you mentioned things Paramjit did well, and also things in which he can improve for his next speech. And now this is the hand, which is the hand of the speech evaluator. And we will move on to our timer. Bindu, please, can you share in the post the time for each speech evaluator? Thank you. Now we will call our grammarian, Sandra, for a report. Zoom Master, can you spotlight our grammarian? Zoom Master? Thank you.
I'm here. Thank you so much. Well, that has been such an amazing, fun meeting. Cultivate should have been legacy because that would have been used like 200 times. But Cultivate itself was used by Brahm a couple of times, myself a whole lot of times. Veronica twice in the chat. Thank you. And Irish once, Angela twice, and probably more, but I was having so much fun listening to the speeches. There was only a couple of things that I caught in terms of language, grammatical. Irish, you use the word tenu often, and I wasn't sure what it was until I was putting it into context. It's tenure, the staying with it. And Paramjit, you had the happiness coach, and the computer didn't understand my awakening. Those were fun quotes. But I missed the line that was repetitive, that kept ending in 100%. So that was a nice rhythm, but a little faster than my ear could catch the words. The other ones were the quotes. Angela, you made me laugh with the Ghost Mentor 2.0. and witness protection, and you know your why. Brahm, I like just the fire's burning. I left it at that because the fire is burning all the way through. And Tony, thank you so much thank you for being a true son of Africa. And you must be the change you want to see in the world. Irish, you stayed with what legacy we're leaving behind as Brahm departs. And that made me laugh because I think of departing as crossing the veil, but then you came around to also the legacy we have with the families and what we're leaving in life. Anyhow, I had a chuckle, which was a little silly. Holmes, you were promoting the team members to become independent thinkers, and you were vulnerable, sharing that in the pantry there you were creating gossip until you recognized, oh, it's not time to tear apart, it's time to build up. And I really enjoyed all of the fun and humor sprinkled throughout the meeting. Thank you. GE.
Thank you, Sandra, for your report. And now we are coming to the end of my service as a General Evaluator. Here is my overall assessment of the meeting. First of all, I would like to thank all the team of Evaluator. You did well. You deliver your evaluation based on what we learned from Toastmasters. First, starting by things speakers did well, then mention things on which they can improve, and we end make a summaries of the speech. So thank you for that. I would like also to thank our role player, the timer first, Bindu, for the work she did, and also our grammarian, Sandra. Now I will back the control of the meeting to our TMOD, Brahm.
Thank you. Thank you, Arouna, for being our GE for today. Much appreciated. Madam Zoom Master, are we going to relaunch the speaker poll or what's going on? Jyoti, just a bit of housekeeping here for our guests here. We just want to.
We will, Paramjit ji will be posting it now. Once we finish the evaluators thing, we'll repost it.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Let me know when you are ready to post, Paramjit.
The best effort evaluators is still on. If everybody can kindly vote for the best effort evaluator, we'll have the other one posted. Thank you.
Actually, it's actually off now, so it's not on.
Well, voting is almost final, so I just prepare send a message to Neil, but I will prepare the certificate.
No problem. All right, so you can close the evaluator because it is already off now, and we can't relaunch it. So we'll go with the results as they are shown now. Thank you, Jyoti, for your service. We will move on to the next segment here, which is, of course, the thought of the day. And the thought of the day is going to be Distinguished Toastmaster. I don't know. There we go. Distinguished Toastmaster, Hannah Smith. Hannah, all the way from Namibia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. I love those brains that you show there. They're definitely working. My processor is working. A primary delight of leadership involves bringing together remarkable individuals.
Go ahead. We've muted the intrusion.
Mr. Timer, I'll start again.
Sure.
The primary delight of leadership involves bringing together remarkable individuals referred to as legacy leaders and all at leadership speak. Here are some observations that I have made during the speeches. Legacy is built, It is not inherited. Obviously, it must be earned brick by brick and day by day. Erich, our leadership educational speaker, cultivated a legacy focused on leading with purpose, creating a lasting impact, and profoundly engaging with his guiding pillars that he spoke about. His closing words: show results and apply it in the real world and make an impact. Holmes, we as self-directed leaders are ready to take communication style to the next level and are excited about starting something new to become legacy leaders. Paramjit, I've got some advice for you. Using legacy leaders as your password will never expire. And Angela's passionate speech about mentoring is undoubtedly worthy of a huge accolade. I want to end by words of Chaitanya Charan. Greatness is measured by who we lift, not just what we do. And that is legacy leadership. Tony, my 9 words to the outgoing exco. I thank you for being true legacy leaders. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much for your thoughts of the meeting and your own thoughts about legacy leadership. Much appreciated, Hannah. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the meeting, and we will give the awards out for the speakers. But before we do that, I'd like to speak to the guests while the the award certificates are being created and all that. Dear guests, once more, thank you. Welcome back to the fireside with me. Let's have a conversation. I'd like to speak to you a little bit. Quite a number of members have signed into the guest book. If you haven't, Leah, if you can post the guest book as again, the link in the chat for our guests. There you go, guests. Thank you, Leah. So if you haven't signed in yet, now you've had the gist of the whole meeting. And if you're holding on, do sign in the guest book. And if you want to become a member, remember, we provide a lot of training way beyond any club anywhere globally. And our standards are high, our standards are of excellence, and it is reflected in our coaching, in our mentoring. And that's why we have so many members wanting to be world champions of public speaking or professional speakers, top professional speakers or legendary leaders, all because of the coaching that we provide and the excellence with which we conduct ourselves. So please feel free to fill in the guest book. Even if you don't want to be a member, just fill in and give us feedback, because we thrive on your feedback. Let me just see if I can call on a few guests who are still here. We can have a little conversation if they wish to. Is Frida here?
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm Frida Mwanyasi from Mombasa, Kenya. I've enjoyed every bit of the session today. Thank you so much. I'm contemplating of becoming a dual member. I will join maybe at the end of this month. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. Brahm.
If you can spotlight Frida. Frida, is your video open so we can spotlight you for a little second? Now, here's something very interesting that Frida said. Sorry, Frida, is your video on? If not, that's fine. But if you can put it on, then we can spotlight you.
My camera is not that clear. I'll not.
Okay, no worries. Frida, I've been speaking to Frida for the past couple of months anyway, so she will be joining at the end of this month, as she said. Here's the interesting thing about Frida is she said she's from Mombasa. Guess where I was born? You guessed it. I was born in Mombasa. So this member is very close to my heart. I mean, this guest will be a member, will be very close to my heart. Frida, we look forward to you onboarding you soon.
Thank you so much, Master Brahm.
Thank you so much for being here, Frida. Next, of course, we have Sashini Stone. She's been here before. And Sashini, are you around? And of course, we have Robin Stone who will be joining us. I don't know if Robin Stone is here. He's here. So, Robin Stone, if you can spotlight Robin for me here. Madam Zoom Master, if you can spotlight Robin. Robin, by the way, how are you and how is everything for you?
No, it's good, thanks. Sorry, I haven't really set up my lighting properly today. It's dark here, completely dark actually. So yeah, but I'll get it right. And I look forward to joining Leadership Speak at the end of the month as well. And by the
Yes.
way, I was last in Mombasa when I was about 5 years old. So yeah.
Well, Robin, I've known you now for about 4 years from my Speak days, and now you're here.
That's right.
And so you'll be pleased to meet Tony, and you want to talk about ethics. Tony is the person to talk about ethics because Tony, Robin's project, he's doing a DTM project and it's around the ethics. So I'd love to speak with you, Tony. And we'll speak soon to Robin and get you on board.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Wonderful. The next person I'd like to quickly ask is to spotlight Leah Musunga because she is actually our Vice President of Membership. I just wanted to speak to people that I already knew and were getting on board. But over to you, Leah, and anyone else you would like to speak to, Leah.
Good day to everyone. I'm just trying to look, to see who else might still be on the call, who had filled in our guest book. Let me just double check again. I see I think I know when I logged in, I remember Anne she filled in the guest book, but she looks like she's a returning visitor, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
And I
think she had to
she's not
leave
yet here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see she's not here.
You know, Leah, ask for Felicia Simpson. You know why? Because Felicia and Angela belong to the same community club, Discovery Toastmasters, right here in District 86. I don't know if Felicia is around. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I can still, she's still on the call.
Hey,
hello,
Felicia.
Hi. Yes, unfortunately, I got on a bit late, so I missed Angela's speech. I was so upset that I missed it, but I loved her evaluation. It was fantastic. And the other speeches that I heard also were very good. So I didn't realize it was at 9:30. So I looked at the clock and said, I was late. But again, of course, Brahm, you always put on these wonderful meetings, and everybody's so professional and so knowledgeable and so high up in the rank. So it was excellent. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Felicia.
You're welcome.
You should consider becoming a member.
And 9:30 in the morning is a little bit on a Saturday morning. It's early, but I'll definitely consider. Thank you, Brahm.
Hi, Felicia. I'm just letting you know you can watch Angela on YouTube. We have the replay on YouTube.
I didn't realize that I was on camera. Here I'm looking, hoping that nobody will see me, and there you see me. Yes, but thank you so much.
All right.
Absolutely great.
Okay, I'm just trying to see if there's any other visitor. Maybe you can just unmute yourself. We say hello to you if you are visiting us, or maybe even if you're a returning visitor. Would love to say hello and find out when you'll be joining our club.
Exactly. Oh, and we have Maura from, I think she's in Ireland right now, but she was driving earlier, so I don't know if she's home yet. Then there's Maura, and then what else? Let's see. Mohammed Salihu from Nigeria. And that's about it, I think. I think we should call this a day. What do you think, Leah?
Yes, unless Muhammad would just like to say hello to us. I can see, they did complete the guest book. Hello, Muhammad.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, how did you find our meeting today?
Very, very insightful, and I've learned a lot and looking forward to join you.
So this was your first time visiting our club?
Of course, and I've never expected something so exciting as this. So it's nice.
Oh, wow.
It's very well meeting you.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Definitely, I did see that you filled in the guest book. We'll definitely follow up with you. And indeed, as Brahm has been saying the whole time in this place, you will get more than what you expected in terms of your leadership growth. So looking forward to you coming and joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mohammed.
Oh, and Sashini is back. She had just stepped away, so she's back. If you can speak to Sashini.
Oh, hello, Sashni.
Hello, my apologies. I'd stepped away briefly, but I was saying in chat that I really love the meetings. I enjoyed the speech. I laughed way too much today, and I look forward to just being here. And your evaluations are always a pleasure. Thank you so much for structure and just amazing example of a meeting.
So you're a returning visitor guest.
I am visiting. Yes, I'm a returning visitor. Yes.
Oh, but I think if you had heard from Brahm to say if you really want to get that extra benefit, like you're talking about that extraordinary group, that's where you really get the full benefits of being in an advanced club. So I'd encourage you to join.
Thank you, Leah.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, with that, thank you all very much. Paramjit, I think we will not launch that speaker thing anyways, because I do know who the speakers were.
The first one is there. I have got the screenshot. If you want, I can display that one. That was the right one, first one. The second one was, I think, relaunched one. But if you want, we can relaunch also now. Just let me know.
No, we don't need to relaunch. And we are running out of time, so we will display the certificates later. But can you just shout out who the winners were? Paramjit or anybody? If you can tell us what the winners are.
Paramjit, I
can display the certificates now. I can display the certificates now.
All right, we will leave it to later if you don't have the full results in front of you. All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will call this meeting adjourned. This meeting is now adjourned. Can you please stop the recording and the streaming? Thank you. I will now ask, of course, our guests to give us space to conduct our elections, and we will see you all next week, dear guests. So